Wine and Crime contains graphic and explicit content which may not be suitable for some listeners. Listener discretion is advised.
You are listening to Wine and Crime, the podcast where three friends chug wine, chat true crime, and unleash their worst Minnesotan accents. Oh, yeah. I think that was one of my best Minnesotan accents, to be perfectly fair. I'm Kenyon.
I'm Lucy.
I'm Amanda.
I don't know about you guys, but for me, the forensics episodes are always the best. They are always among my favorites. I love learning about that stuff. They're always like pretty creepy and gross. I just think that forensics are like the creme de la creme of wine and crime, not to mix beverage metaphors. So you guys are going to absolutely love this very special Gals Pick that we have for you this week. It is Best of Forensic Fan Favorites. You guys voted. Let us know which episodes in the past were your absolute faves involving forensics, and we have compiled them all here for you this week. So enjoy. Amanda, what is our wine crime pairing for forensic fan favorites?
With today's special episode, we are pairing the Gals Red Blend. This is a delicious creation from our very own hands, okay? This is a fruit-forward, jammy, well-balanced red. It's got a nice dry finish. It is a perfect red wine. It's not like too highly tannic. If you're kind of newer to red wine, this is nice and sophisticated, but it's not going to give you, too much to sort through. It's a great, palatable, delicious red. And you can have it too by heading to our website, wineandcrimepodcast.com. Go over to that wine tab and you'll see our wines, and the Gals Red is right there for the taking. Also over on Patreon, we're going to be releasing a little companion video of Best of Forensics. This is a special episode that's going to have entirely different content from what you're hearing now. So if you are a member of our Patreon at $5 or more, you can have access to that content. Lucy, why don't you tell us what you have in store for your segment?
I have a lovely little smattering from the first few years of the podcast, from blood spatter to foreskin. Yum. Also coming up after my segment, we have the time Kenyon and Amanda covered the same case in 2 separate episodes. Can you guess what case that was? Coming up next, we have a clip from episode 96, Isotope Analysis, famous for my attempt at trying to explain isotope analysis using an analogy about cats in wigs, and it totally makes sense. It's your problem if you don't get it.
Explain to us what an isotope is, because apparently neither one of us learned despite writing our cases.
It's your food.
Well, I have a very not so elegant analogy to deliver to you that will definitely help you figure this out.
You are what you eat?
Okay, backing up. First, what's an isotope? I'm ignoring Amanda. The definition is, quote, each of 2 or more forms of the same element that contain equal numbers of protons but different numbers of neutrons in their nuclei, and hence differ in relative atomic mass but not in chemical properties.
I'm bored.
Electrolytes, exactly, like we said.
So I was already
exactly
confused by
said.
this, so I went to chem4kids.com.
Yes. Now explain it to me like I'm 5.
And I concluded that this just isn't going to be one of those subjects that I can fully wrap my head around. So it boils down to this, and keep in mind this was followed by an analogy, so bear with me. So carbon, which is a pretty popular element here on Earth, comes in a few different styles, let's say. There's C12 and also C13, for 2 examples. That number is the mass. So chemically speaking, they react the same way. They're both carbon. Carbon has an atomic number of 6, which means it has 6 protons and 6 electrons. Both C12 and C13 have the same atomic number. So it has the same number of protons and electrons, which means the only difference between the two is that it has an extra neutron. So
I am so glad I don't do the background in psych. Oh,
it took me all morning to fucking figure this out. So here's my not so elegant analogy. You ready?
Yeah.
And keep in mind also that I started this analogy before I fully figured out what the fuck was going on, so it goes downhill very rapidly.
So then you really pushed.
So this is
to make
your
it
analogy.
continue to
This
fit.
is my analogy.
Oh, dang. Okay.
So, imagine carbon is a cat.
Oh no. Okay.
There are many cats, all are carbon. Most cats wear red wigs and white pants.
Why don't you just go with cat fur?
It wasn't as funny.
Don't distract her.
And also, it wouldn't make sense later on, so just sit the fuck down and shut up.
Yeah, it makes so much sense now, too. So this
Some
is great.
cats wear blue wigs and white pants, and a few other cats wear yellow wigs and white pants. The difference in wigs represents the difference in number of neutrons that the cat holds in its precious little heart, which is also the nucleus. Each pair or group of cats, or clouder of cats, in different wigs are isotopes of each other. They're all cats. They all sprint around the house when they have to poop, but they have different weights depending on their wigs.
Okay.
Fun fact.
This makes perfect
If the cats were to
sense.
change their pants, or the number of electrons in their tiny little hearts, they would be ions. Or maybe lions.
Oh my
my
god.
God.
Okay, so if a cat takes off
I
its
hate
wig,
this.
it's
I'm
still
getting
a cat.
there.
Okay.
I'm getting there.
This is making it worse.
The red wigs are stable. The blue and yellow wigs are not stable, aka radioactive.
I think you could argue that a cat in a wig is not stable no matter what.
The
Under any
cats in the red wigs are
circumstances.
stable. So all the cats
The owner of the cat
shut
is
the
not
fuck
stable.
up. So all the cats go to a party with some dogs and some bats and some crocodiles and some monkeys, and they're all wearing wigs and pants, different colored wigs.
There's a dress code.
How high are you right now?
I'm telling you, I started
On a
this
scale
analogy
of-
before I fully learned it, so this is what's happening.
Okay.
So they all dance for hours and days and maybe hundreds and thousands of years. The cats in the red wigs are having fun. They're flirting, they're cavorting, while the cats with the blue and yellow wigs, they get tired. Some of them get hot and frustrated, and they tear off parts of their wigs in order to cool off. So these animals that are tearing off their wigs are exhibiting radioactive decay. So they now represent a radiogenic isotope. So the time that it takes for each animal to get hot is its decay rate or half-life. You guys remember learning about half-lives of elements.
Yeah, like 1,000,000 half-lives ago. I don't remember any of that
So
shit.
all of the cats tore off their wigs after 5,730 years because that is the half-life of carbon.
Cool.
So I think this analogy has gone as far as it can.
Or farther.
I think I've never been more confused about anything in my
Each
life.
cat is an
And-
atom of carbon.
I am going to
Yep,
send
okay. That much I
this
get.
episode to Allie Ward and be like, should Lucy become
No.
a science communicator?
Please
Do
do. Please
not.
do. I really should have been a chemistry
God,
teacher.
it's so embarrassing.
Okay.
Also, somebody listening definitely has like a chemistry final tomorrow, and I just totally fucked them.
yeah, they are fucked. Yeah.
This next clip is from episode 10, Blood Spatter Analysis. I love this one.
Spatters and spurts. Let's
All
go.
right, let's open the floodgates, shall we, for the spatter?
Oh,
the floodgates.
So there are a few different types of spatter. So we have gunshot spatter, and well, these aren't the only types of spatter, but they're like some good ones.
Okay.
Okay.
So gunshot spatter, you have both forward spatter from the exit wound. So bear with me, this gets a little complicated.
Oh, God,
The
okay.
forward
Okay.
spatter comes from the exit wound, and back splatter comes from the entrance wound.
Okay.
So if
I
you
can
imagine
visualize
someone
that.
getting shot in the forehead, you have forward splatter coming out of the back of their head, assuming the bullet exits. And then you have, which is like a fine mist, and those droplets are spread out over a wide area, versus the back spatter from the entrance wound, which will be fewer, larger droplets kind of confined to that area.
Okay.
Got it.
So this varies depending on the caliber of the gun, where on the body the bullet struck. So obviously getting shot in the stomach versus getting shot in the forehead would have different effects. Whether the bullet exited the body, the distance between the victim and the gun, and also, and I didn't think about this, the distance between the victim and surrounding surfaces where the spatter ends up.
Oh, yeah.
So these are all taken into account.
So, like, if they're, like, backed against a wall, then the fine mist won't be very
so fine.
different.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the blood's not traveling very far. It's just kind of blasting out the back.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Gross.
So then we have cast off spatter, which is caused by a bloodied object swinging in an arc.
Ooh.
So flinging blood onto nearby surfaces. And this analysts can use this type of spatter to tell what the direction of the motion.
Oh, okay.
And also they can count the arcs that were made, so they can count how many blows were delivered.
So if someone takes an axe to somebody, after they first dive in the axe and the axe blade is covered in blood, when they recoil to do it again, they're following that arch. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the first arc is inherently the second blow.
Okay.
Correct. Yep. Exactly. Cool. Okay. Oh, these just get better. I haven't read my notes since last night when I was so excited. And I'm just rereading them, getting all jazzed again.
You are Twitter-pated right now.
I am Twitter-pated. Arterial spray, which is the spurt of blood when a major artery is severed. So we've all seen that, but it's a very real thing.
Oh, God.
And super disturbing.
Ugh.
So the blood is propelled out of the body by the pumping of the heart in arcing patterns. So this is a lot of blood with a lot of force. Yeah. Because your heart is it's a super strong muscle. So say your carotid artery gets cut in your neck.
Yeah.
And that's just that whole mofo is just wide open, and it's close to your heart. And your heart also takes more energy, it has more force to put blood upwards. So it is just shooting out of there.
Ugh.
And in spurts.
Yeah.
And not a constant flow.
As your heartbeat goes,
corresponding with your heartbeat. What?
Yep.
And sound effects.
Yep, thank you. So I thought it was also interesting that a new arc forms with each pump of the heart because it's getting weaker and weaker. So the first one is whoa, and then it just kind of, it dies down from there.
That's
literally
sad.
Moving on to expirated spatter, which is also super fun. So this is caused by blood from an internal injury.
Super fun.
I'm sorry, I just started picturing supercalifragilistic
spatter.
Yep. We're going to have a lot of fun. We could do so many songs with these.
And will over the course of the
album.
next hour. We got to figure out how to get John Mellencamp involved in this project.
The Cougs.
The Cougs.
Cougs. Well, we can't help it that our content is just whimsical.
So musical.
It just begs to be turned into a musical.
Wine and Crime, the opera.
Expirated spatter is caused by blood from an internal injury mixing with the air being expelled through the lungs. Wow. So, if you were shot in the chest, then you would be exhaling blood droplets.
Okay.
Oh, weird.
Or coughing
so this
blood.
This tends to be a very fine mist, natch. And investigators can tell this kind of spatter because there's often small air bubbles within the drops of blood itself.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
And then there's also the type of blood that maybe has been attempted to be cleaned up, or it's too small to be seen with the naked eye, and that's when investigators implement luminol, which if you don't know what luminol is, it's a substance that reacts with hemoglobin, which is present in blood, and it glows like bright blue. So if you've seen literally any episode of Forensic Files, you know what that is.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I want to get my hands on luminol just for funsies.
Yeah,
and,
can
like,
you get
look around my
luminol over
apartment.
the counter?
Oh, imagine bringing it to like a hotel room.
Girl.
Oh my
I think
God.
does it pick up semen also, or is that just a black light?
I think that's just a black light.
Can we please have a staycation this summer where we spend one night in a hotel room, bring a black light and a bunch of luminol, and just record our findings?
Yep.
I don't know if I want to stay there at all.
We won't.
Could you rent? Let's go to an hourly hotel room.
No,
where we're
that's
sure
where
to
you'll
find
get the
more
good stuff.
more blood, more semen, and we only have to be there for as long as we can stand it.
All right, I'll look into it. Might have
Good
to go to
plan.
Wisconsin for that, though.
Okay, so some kind of information that investigators can gather from the blood present at the crime scene is the amount. Did they bleed to death? That should be kind of apparent. Tracks, if there was a chase or an altercation. Location helps them out a lot, whether it was in a like if it's in a bathroom, then it could be some biological natural occurrence like a miscarriage.
Oh, yeah.
Or those are real...
a woman
bloody.
had a miscarriage in the bathroom at a restaurant where I used to work.
What?
It was
Did
a
you have to
rough
clean?
night.
No, you have to call crime scene
No,
cleanup.
we had to call. It was pretty contained in the toilet, but we still had to call like Minneapolis 311 and let them know what happened and see if we had to get people out there to clean it. And they sent a team out.
Yeah, because you can't be expected to clean up a stranger's blood.
Yep. So the bathroom was out of order for the rest of the night.
There's
oh my
like
God, that's so
HIV,
sad and awful.
You know, there's viral concerns when it comes to it's a biohazard. If there are overlapping stains or maybe multiple DNA, if they can tell that there were two or more people at the scene, then they'd have a pretty good idea. If there's only one victim but there's two types of blood, then they're like, oh, we have a pretty good idea of who the perpetrator was.
Okay.
Right.
What physical state the blood was in, obviously if it's fresh, it's liquid, or if it's not, how recent the bloodshed was.
Jello
And
cubes.
It's also important to know whether there were first responders on the site, because if an ambulance, if anyone just came to help, they're not going to preserve the crime scene.
No,
You're
they're not.
slipping all
No.
over on that shit. Have you seen an operating room or like a like a surgical ER room after something like that? There's blood everywhere and it's real slippery.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Okay.
Another fun term is void patterns. If there was an object in the way of the stain,
Oh,
like if there was
a stencil.
yeah, like a stencil. There's probably some good ones.
Crafting.
A floral stencil for your baseboards.
They could, like, if there was a perfect outline of a hammer from the blood, then they'd know that the hammer is gone.
From
I bet
beating
this
your
person
cheating
was killed with
husband
a
to
hammer.
death in Little Whinging, England. Whoever the fuck you were.
That's when you know you're just like, well, I should turn myself in.
There's literally
if your
a blood
crime
outline
scene
of a hammer.
has an outline of the murder weapon.
Kind
Like,
of giving
just
it away.
give it up.
Yeah, turn yourself in. It's only a matter of time.
This next clip is from episode 78, Game Changing Evidence. This one was wild.
In addition to improvements made to current forensic techniques, some emerging technologies include we can do quicker testing in the form of portable labs.
Oh, yeah.
So they're working on, for example, light scanners to image human veins and that can detect drugs and alcohol in your system.
Oh, my
What?
God.
From a light scanner?
Yeah.
From a lightsaber?
Yeah. Yep.
What?
I would not do well in a Gattaca world, you guys. I am
Samers.
blind in one eye. I've got a bad back.
It's Star Wars.
I know, but
I'm
same
fucked.
diff.
Facial recognition software. So we will get to that in just a minute. There can also be like on-site testing for identifying drugs and explosives in the capacity where normally a sample would need to be sent to a lab that's most likely overwhelmed with other samples, can take weeks to get your results back.
Right.
But as for the facial recognition software, so like we've all seen the commercials for the iPhone 10 where like your face is your password, which is
and you can make an emoji of yourself.
Don't like it.
I don't like it.
Don't like it.
I love it.
It creeps me out.
Internet, take me away.
But new technology will be able to recognize a person, for example, wearing sunglasses or a fake beard or like running past a closed circuit TV at night. So it's like blurry and dark.
Shit, man.
That is intense.
There's a lot that facial recognition technology that we have now is useless with.
I'm super screwed.
Like the Boston bombing. They ran those two. They had them on film, and they ran them through every software thing available, and it only one of them caught one of the dudes one time or something crazy like that.
Well, yeah, I remember because I was living in Boston at the time, so I remember that like super vividly. But a lot of the like surveillance footage was of like half of their faces, and they were wearing
Hats
baseball
and
caps.
Sunglasses. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can definitely see why that was.
Just the time and resources that this saves, because I now I can't remember what the name of the documentary is, but it's a short documentary that's on Netflix about this man who was charged with murder, but he didn't commit the crime.
Wait, he was at the baseball game?
Yes, and he was at a baseball game, and he
my
happened to
God.
be filmed on an episode of Larry David's Curb Your Enthusiasm, but it took like hours and hours and hours, like weeks worth of hours
to establish that alibi.
Video. Because a legal team had to comb through all of the security footage, which they found him on security footage that the baseball stadium provided, but it was too like blurry. Like you could fucking tell it was him, but it
And there were
wouldn't have held him
thousands
in
of
court.
people there. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
But then getting the better footage from the Curb Your Enthusiasm footage cleared him, but the people had to just sit there and go through hours of tape at a super slow motion to painstakingly look at thousands of people's faces to find this one guy and his daughter.
And now a computer software could do that in seconds.
Exactly. Isn't that crazy?
That short little documentary is incredible.
so good.
If you have Netflix, it's called Long Shot.
That's right. Long shot.
It's so good. Okay.
It's called long vowel.
It's called long shot.
Rim job.
Oh. Oh my God.
That escalated
Tongue punch
quickly.
my fart back.
Let's go back to facial recognition.
All right.
Ick.
Let's go back to facial.
Your pink winker.
Oh my God.
So this technology can happen by creating, one way that this is going to advance. There's technology that can create a 3D model of a person's face from a 2D image, and then that software can add like emotion, like show them smiling
good.
or laughing or speaking.
Oh.
And
love
then that 3D model can be analyzed by multiple databases.
Totally. Okay, that makes sense.
So eventually the cops will have this type of software on their smartphones, so they will be able to ID people accurately and instantly.
That's terrifying.
A little bit terrifying.
Yeah.
Kind of 1984, but also better than... I mean, I think that fewer people will get falsely accused of things because it's
One
like
would
eyewitness.
Hopefully. We'll see.
Well, depending on how quickly and this can be super accurate.
Mm-hmm.
Related technology can also do tattoo recognition, which would be handy for gang-related crimes because every tattoo, I mean, on a very small scale, each one is unique.
Yeah.
Placement on the body, size, scale, all of that. So,
yeah, absolutely.
okay, other technology, microbiomic identification.
What in the fuck
What?
is that
So-
garbage?
Yeah.
So we all have our own cells in our body, but we have
Wait, what?
we have between 10 and 20 times more microbes. So
Okay.
we have like trillions of microbes on and in our bodies, especially like in our guts.
Blech.
Yes. Yep. And I take probiotics. Boost
So
that
you
shit.
have extra.
Yeah, they're good. These groups of microorganisms make up our own unique microbiomes. They're like communities of these microorganisms in our bodies. And
So it's like a literal cloud of little microbes around a person.
I
And
hate
these
it.
microbiomes stay fairly stable in and on our own bodies at any time, just because that they're at home, they're stable, they're happy. At any time, except for after sex, when microbes are transferred, like from your
Mine are all
pubic,
fucked up this week, then.
for example.
It's a lot of rubbing.
I could get away
Yeah.
with murder.
You got a lot of foreign microbiomes on you right now.
Or you could get accused of murder if one of your rando hookups.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I didn't think of it that way.
Also, men's and women's microbial DNA are different, so a scientist could not only tell if they'd recently had sexual contact with someone of the opposite sex, but they could also use these foreign microbes to identify the other party.
What?
Yeah.
In fairness, scientists could not tell the difference between heavy petting and sex from the microbiomes.
Yeah, probably not.
I mean, sex
Unless
doesn't
there are
mean
special ones
doesn't
from
mean
your-
intercourse.
True.
As long as you're
Also
like
true.
intensely rubbing one part of your body, which is rich in microorganisms, on somebody else's,
Yep. Part.
you could be
Totally.
tongue punching their fart box.
I have never been less horny in my life. I'm the least horny I've ever been right now.
I'm glad I could do that
Close
for
up
you.
shop.
Thank
Close
you.
up shop.
My part is basically a cold shower for Amanda.
Oh, God, yeah. Hate it.
Here's a cool one. Fingerprints.
Fingering.
So as we know from a previous episode and every episode that Amanda is hyper horny all of the time.
Sorry, Mom.
Fingerprints are actually made up of proteins and fats excreted from the skin. So it is possible to glean information from the fluid itself about a person's diet. This was super specific. Whether they've handled a condom and what brand that condom was.
Whoa.
I don't know why that was like the specific detail in this article, but
Because that's
be handy.
mind-blowing.
and eventually it will be possible to develop an entire genetic profile of that person. And
From their sebum, from the
fingerprint oil.
of the fingerprint.
yeah, but let's not
Oh,
forget that. So there is DNA in those fingerprints, assuming that it has some of the proteins and fats from your body. But a lot of a fingerprint is just dirt and grease from like the environment. It's not all your own DNA.
Skin oil.
So
Totally.
we can already get DNA from these fingerprints, although it's not always 100% possible for the reasons I just stated. And often an investigator has to choose between retaining the print itself or attempting to get the DNA from it. There are some ways in which you can preserve both. But again, those are fairly new. So I liked that.
The fact that people can tell what I've been eating from my greasy ass fingerprints.
I hate and
Fried
love that.
chicken.
really disturbs.
Klondike bars. Hello.
Too much wine.
There's a lot of butter in this fingerprint.
Is she okay?
Parmesan cheese makes up 97% of this print.
Her body mass index is 90% Parmesan.
Specifically
Incredible.
Kraft.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They can tell the
specifically
brand.
rat poison and wood shavings disguised as Parmesan.
I love it. It's so good.
This next clip is from episode 108, Fingerprint Forensics. And boy, howdy, did I have fun with this one.
So before we get into a little bit of an interview with Eric and Glenn, I did some research on my own and found some things that I think you will think are interesting. So fingerprint analysis is called ridgeology. So Glenn and Eric, would you consider yourselves ridgeologists?
Absolutely. Yeah, and that's exactly right. It's a made-up word that is from a Canadian fingerprint examiner who's famous in our profession.
Full of shit.
By the name of David Ashbaugh. Yeah, exactly. It's completely made up. And the idea was that fingerprint examiners in the past would count a certain number of points, and that was considered maybe not best practice. And so he wanted to bring the focus back onto the ridges, comparing ridges, not just points. So he created this made-up term, but now we've all adopted it. And yes, we call ourselves ridgeologists, and we have phrases that try to adopt that, like "ridge on, brother."
Oh my God, I love it.
I'm not going to confirm that. I've never been encouraged to ridge on, brother, but
So I was interested in seeing and like learning how fingerprints come to be. So I found this super nerdy quote. These epidermal ridges are caused by the interface of the dermal papillae of the dermis and the interpapillary pegs of the epidermis. I don't know what any of that means.
what was nerdy about that? That's totally what happens.
So far, accurate.
What are interpapillary pegs?
Eric, you want that one?
Sure. So, the where the dermis and the epidermis meet is a complex three-dimensional structure that has pegs of the dermis that sticks up and interlocks with the epidermis, so to create this tight mesh, and that locks everything in. And as additional skin cells are created, that complex structure being maintained in the same way throughout your life is represented on the surface as the same pattern fingerprint throughout your life.
It's like Velcro, sticking your skin together.
Exactly. If you think about your fingers interlocking together as your fingers kind of insert all the way down to each other, I mean, if they lock together, that's exactly how these papillae pegs do that, and it holds the two skin surfaces together. In fact, when you die, again, back to necrophilia, when you die, the chemicals that hold them together, the little tendrils that connect, start to dissolve, and that's why the skin sloughs off into the skin glove that you might hear about. That sometimes, yes, fingerprint examiners must take that upper layer of skin off. They slough it off. They put it on their own finger, usually with a glove in between, and then have to roll that to get those exemplars from the corpse.
Oh my God, I love
that.
This
Is
so
the
much.
grossest and coolest thing I've ever heard simultaneously.
It's so weird holding someone's hand when they're not there. So because sometimes we'll have to try to find the fingerprint, get the fingerprints off of a hand. So the medical examiner will just chop off the hand and send it to us in a bucket.
Okay.
Cool.
It's really kind of odd.
It is.
And you have to have like a gallows humor about it all to kind of keep your sanity. But,
Well,
we get that.
Yeah.
So at a certain period, though, when the hand is dead and the skin has maybe started that sloughing process, at what point do you have to, like, I don't know, maybe rehydrate the fingers to get the prints back?
Yep.
Like, what is the no going back point when it comes to a dead hand?
Well, there really isn't until the skin completely deteriorates. I mean, we actually have found not Egyptian mummified hands, but if someone is out, let's say in Eric's part of the country, he's in Arizona, if they're out in the desert, they start to desiccate and go through that dehydration process. And so they have to reconstitute the skin. And yeah, it's dried like a mummy, but there's different chemicals and soaking methods that will have the skin reabsorb that liquid that will plump it up a bit so that he can actually then roll it and then get prints off of it. Have you had to ever do that, Eric?
Downy fabric softener is... I'm not kidding.
I will never look at Cuddles the same way ever.
Yeah, you kind of soak it a little bit, get it from like that leathery texture back into like more of a skin texture. Inject some saline to kind of plump it back up so it's not all wrinkly anymore. And and even if the skin comes off, those pegs that you were talking about on the dermis, if the epidermis is gone, those are still there in rows that follow the ridges. So there's lots of different kind of ways in the biology.
Y'all are free.
I can help reconstitute interpapillary pegs.
Oh my God. What?
Coming up next, episode 117, foreskin forensics. And who knew? Who knew?
First of all, I was writing my notes out on my porch, and it was like a beautiful day. There were families walking their babies and like dogs
Covered
and
or
children.
uncovered porch?
It's a
uncut.
It's a covered porch, which is the closest I've come to a foreskin in my life. Oh, speaking of, side anecdote within this anecdote. I know I've said this on the show before, but I have to say it specifically for this episode. Do you all remember when I had my high school boyfriend? And we had relations. I was familiar with what he was working with, and we were talking about circumcision and foreskin. And I said, I've never seen an uncircumcised penis before. Not even like photos of it. At that point, I was just like we were Googling it at Kenyon's house, I remember specifically. And he's like, what are you talking about? I'm not circumcised. And I was like, honey, yes, you are. And he's like, what? He went into the bathroom to like scope it out after we'd Googled. He was unaware that he had been circumcised. He called his mom to like make sure.
Oh, no.
Oh, God. Okay. The technical term for foreskin is a prepuce, which I had to Google how to pronounce it, not realizing that my computer speakers were turned all the way up. And I was, again, sitting on my front porch with, again, children learning how to ride a two-wheeled bike right on my sidewalk. And it just echoed through my
booming voice.
Prepuce.
Children.
Oh my God, yes.
Prepuce, I should note, is also the word for the clitoral hood. Another disgusting term.
Same word. Interesting.
Prepuce.
Okay.
Yeah. It's just
It's
the
a skin sheath.
It's a skin sheath. It's a skin sheath.
His dick fell off. It's a skin sheath.
Yep.
Okay, so this quote is from healthymale.org.au.
My favorite website.
Amanda's homepage.
I bought the domain name.
AmandaThoughts.com.doc.
Even for the internet, it's shocking.
Okay, the foreskin is a roll of skin that covers the end of the penis. When you're born, the penis has a foreskin. People who have been circumcised have had their foreskin removed for cultural, religious, medical, or aesthetic reasons. If you have a foreskin, it's important to look after it. Like it's a little rabbit.
Help us, the foreskin.
Ugh. My earthworm Jim. This means gently washing inside and outside your foreskin with soap and warm water daily. It also means daily. It also means paying attention to any changes to your foreskin. If it becomes difficult to pull back, red, swollen, or inflamed, or develops lumps, it's a good idea to see a doctor to make sure you avoid any long-term damage. Learn more about penis lumps here. Which I
Blue embedded link.
just kept in my nose.
My God. I was choked. I had wine in my mouth.
So much dick yesterday. So much internet dick. Okay, so here are some slang terms for foreskin.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, this is what I've been waiting for.
Are you ready?
Gentleman's relish.
I'm not ready. I'm so ready.
Penis beanie. Cock dock, dick jacket, devil's umbrella, organzola, magician's cloak, Dr. Kaforskian, Granny's chin, Scandinavian cement mixer,
Ew.
squirrel helmet, Peeping Richard, and my favorite, Minnesota turtleneck.
Yes!
I left out anything related to religion, but there were a lot. And also anything that had to do with cheese, because gross.
No.
Except for Gorgonzola.
Unnecessary.
I let Gorgonzola through.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to end with some fun penis facts. Because I can. And I'm really over the serious foreskin.
Love it.
Yep.
Okay. It isn't uncommon for babies to come out of the womb with full-on tiny boners.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
How fucking disturbing would that be? I hate it. Also, baby dicks are so small. You could barely even notice.
Bleh, I can't. Bleh. Okay.
Yeah. The International Journal of Impotence Research
Oh, dear.
published a study that found, in part, quote, penile dimensions are significantly correlated with age, height, and index finger length, but not at all with foot size.
Interesting. Index finger length.
Yeah, look at the index finger.
That looks... Wait, the index...
Your pointer finger.
Right. That seems... All right, we'll just correlate
Well, don't
it with.
look at your own finger.
My penis would not be that impressive.
Amanda would have a tiny little, chubby little penis.
I have very little hands.
With a little blue tip.
But I know what to do with them, boys.
Jesus Christ. You're going to get so many emails.
Yeah, I am.
Most people with penises have 3 to 5 boners each night, mostly during REM sleep. Also known
Wow.
I know, that's like a lot. Also known as nocturnal penile tumescence.
Yes.
Scientists...
My new drag name.
Gross. Tumescence. Scientists don't know for sure why this happens, but some theorize that it's to prevent bed wetting. Because if you have a boner, you can't pee.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, not to brag, but I don't have a penis and don't wet the bed, so...
Well, right. Okay. So
Watch
that
out.
actually
Humble brag.
segues into this next comment. Just because women don't wet the bed any more frequently than men do, some doctors also say that the penis needs to stay in shape, so it's necessary to get NARBs now and then.
Oh my God, it's a workout.
Do you remember what a NARB is?
Nocturnal.
No, a no apparent reason boner.
Oh, I also thought it was nocturnal,
Yeah,
whatever.
I got excited.
No, that's
I got
nocturnal
a NARB.
penile tumescence.
Boo.
Nips.
A NARB was like a middle school term. Okay, so it's necessary to get NARBs now and then just to keep your dick in shape. And actually, it's a fact that your dick will shrink if you don't get boners on the reg. Like, they've measured it. If you go, like, a certain number of months without getting an erection, your penis shrinks by, like, 1 centimeter.
Oh my, that's
wow.
not insignificant. All right,
No.
well, there you go, everyone. Masturbation will prevent dick shrinkage.
Yeah, seriously.
So-
Whack your wanker.
Those nocturnal penile tumescence occurrences
Come
are...
in handy.
Come in handy.
We're idiots.
Oh my God. Okay, so also on that note, if a man has trouble getting hard while awake, but he can get a boner in his sleep, then that suggests that his issue is psychological and not physical, obviously.
Oh.
So that's one way that doctors can, like, determine what the fuck is wrong.
A sleep study, a nocturnal emission sleep study.
Gross. I would hate that. We've also talked about corpse boners before.
Yeah, we have.
Episode 1.
Uh-huh. So a death erection, also called angel lust,
Oh no.
or terminal erection, can happen moments after death. It usually happens after the person is hanged. And it has
Blood
also
rushing
happened
down there.
after a gunshot wound to the head, damage to a major blood vessel, and poisoning. So, like, any
Is it like
sort
a
of
pooling thing?
if it's like a shock to, well, okay, so the hanging thing was attributed to a lot of pressure on your brain, like a lot of blood being sent up to your brain. And then the gunshot wound and the damage to the major blood vessels is just like a shock to your entire circulatory system. And I didn't really know. They didn't attribute the poisoning to anything specific, but it was just in the list.
Okay.
Interesting. But the corpse boners we were talking about were like not just within a few minutes after death. It was like a couple days, right?
Rigor mortis.
I don't know.
Yeah, okay. Moving on. As far as penile fractures go, because you can break your dick, the most dangerous sex position is the woman on top or the partner on top. Well, you're bouncing around up there. If you get enough air.
Angles are key.
Yeah.
I'm shocked I haven't broken anyone's dick. Shocked.
The day is young.
That's true. I'm only 31.
It's only 2:30 p.m.
You're right. Let's wrap this up. I got some phone calls to make.
A lot of dicks are broken also by people falling out of bed with a boner.
Ouch. Ow. Bad way to wake up.
Yikes.
All right.
That would suck.
And my last wiener factoid, there is no normal angle at which a boner will point. So imagine a flaccid penis, and it's going up like 90 degrees, so it's like horizontal. That's kind of what you expect. But literally any angle within that 180 degree range, even straight the fuck up, is considered
straight
normal.
Down.
Well,
Down is weirder than straight up to me.
Oh my Lord.
And scientists say
Amazing.
that a curve of up to 30 degrees is considered completely normal as well.
I love a good curve.
30 degrees is...
Preferable.
That's like a soft turn in traffic. You know what I mean?
Yep.
At a 5-way stop.
Your blinker might naturally turn off.
Exactly. That's a turn. That's a curve in my book.
Holy shit.
Your blinker might disengage.
Hats off, Lucy.
Hats
That
Magician's capes off.
Squirrel
you have
helmets off.
uncovered a lot of facts about boners.
Oh my God, Dr. Foreskin is my fave.
It's so good.
On that
All
note,
right.
let's hear a word from our sponsors.
Woo. The holidays can be a lot.
A lot.
A lot. I mean, I'm not the only person who has like family trauma that happened right around the holidays.
Yeah, babe. December is not your month.
Not my month. And, you know, there have definitely been years where I have not been well equipped to enter December. But now I have support because I can enjoy the holidays thanks to the gift of therapy from Talkspace. Talkspace offers both therapy and psychiatry from the comfort of your phone. I can reach out to my provider at any time, which is great because I have a lot of stress nightmares.
Yeah.
And my provider is not in the office at 3:45 a.m., but the thoughts are in my head.
It's
So
a
I can
witching hour.
I can at least get them into the app for a reasonable hour. It's like having a mental health professional in my pocket or on my bedside table. Whether I'm, you know, with the extended family, I'm working, I'm traveling, just taking care of my own mental health has really never been easier than with Talkspace. I used to do in-person therapy. Never again. Never again. It's so much harder for me to keep up with it because I cannot carve out the time and energy to go to an appointment, but it's just all right there. It's all right there in the app. And money is often tight this time of year, but luckily Talkspace is in network with most insurance plans, so you'll only pay a small copay. It's so accessible.
They check all the boxes. So Talkspace is incredibly convenient to have virtual sessions with your licensed therapist from the comfort of your home, from the comfort of your phone.
Yep.
We've said it before, Talkspace is millennial approved.
Yep.
There's no need to commute to appointments, miss time at work, put on pants, line up childcare.
Wear a bra.
Oh, and it's cold. Who
Yeah.
wants to do any of that? So no need to just leave the house in order to attend sessions. It's mental health care made so easy. Talkspace is also secure and private, using the latest end-to-end bank-grade encryption technology to store client information and comply with the latest HIPAA regulations. So you can have confidence in where you're putting all your
information is safe, babes.
Your information is safe. And honestly, the therapist that I was hooked up with, I didn't love the first one, and it was super easy to find one that I did love.
Yes.
And now it's like, oh, you're just a very soothing, reassuring voice on the other end of the phone, or the video chat, or the text thread. I also love that I can text the therapist, and then and then I can go back and read the text messages. It's just saved. So
yeah, you don't have to think about, oh, what did we talk about last month? It's all there, babe.
It's all there, and I am very quick to forget things these days, so it really helps
to
have a record. So if you haven't tried Talkspace yet, now's the time.
What are you waiting for? And as a listener of this podcast, you'll get $80 off your first month with Talkspace when you go to Talkspace.com/gals. To match with a licensed therapist today, go to Talkspace.com/gals to get $80 off your first month and show your support for the show. That's Talkspace.com/gals, and treat your brain.
Treat it.
I have high maintenance hair, people, and I put a lot of time, energy, and frankly money into this hair.
And other people's hair.
And other people's hair. I do a lot for this hair. So when it comes to my hair and scalp health, I need products that actually work and are made with clean ingredients. I don't want to undo the beautiful work that so many wonderful people have sacrificed for my crown. And finding products like that always seems like a trade-off, but I gotta tell you, with Vegamore, I get products that are made with clean ingredients and give me visibly healthy hair and scalp.
Yeah.
Tell me more.
With Vegamore, we're able to have visibly thicker, fuller, shinier, longer hair without all of the harsh ingredients. It's also winter time. You might have some dryness.
It's so dry.
Yeah, but Vegamore, it's just like a spa. Every cute pink bottle of Vegamore products are 100% cruelty-free and never formulated with potentially harmful chemicals like parabens or hormones. We don't need more hormones.
We don't.
I love the serum. I have very
the Grow serum.
I have very, very thin hair all over my head, but especially the two pattern baldness typical spots on my scalp. And that serum, man,
it's filling you out, babe.
It's filling me out. And I have received compliments from friends about how good my hair looks.
I literally, I don't see you all the time anymore. I notice it so much when I haven't seen you for a while, and then suddenly you're in the room, this stunning beauty with this, glowing, healthy-looking hair. I can't.
Stop.
I won't.
I also, was always afraid to grow my hair past a certain length.
Yeah.
Because then it would get really thin and really stringy, but not anymore. I got long hair, baby.
Yeah, and you're crushing it.
What's even better is Vegamore's value kits, like the Grow Essentials kit, where you get to try more than one amazing product at a great savings, and you're going to want to try more than one. When you sign up for a monthly subscription, you save even more, and you never run low on the product that you need to take care of your hair. You're not going to be in the shower being like, oh my gosh, I'm out of the conditioner.
Yeah.
You got more. The key is consistency in your routine for your most beautiful, healthy-looking hair. And like I said, I use that Vegamore Grow Hair Serum daily, and my hair and my scalp are both flourishing. And I don't get the dry spots.
Yep.
And fun fact, Vegamore sells one bottle of Grow Serum every 15 seconds on their website, so you don't have to take my word for it.
Yeah. It's not just loved by us.
It's proven.
So give your hair the power of the little pink bottle with Vegamore. For a limited time, Wine and Crime listeners get 20% off their first order by going to vegamore.com/gals and use that code GALS at checkout. That's vegamore.com/gals, code GALS to save 20% on your first order. One more time, vegamore.com/gals, code GALS, and treat your hair health.
Try that. So I live in a totally different state from my parents and my sister. And I just don't see them very often. And we text each other pictures. And like,
It's not the same.
it's not the same. We text each other pictures. I love that. But I also just, I don't know. My parents and my sister are both really good at taking pictures. So I want to like, I always save them on my phone.
In a text, what you look at, or you save it on your phone, you look at it once and then forget it's there?
Yeah.
Come on.
So I have gone hard into the skylight trend because it is a digital frame that you can upload these pictures and share them with your loved ones from however far away. And they're displayed like a static photo in a frame.
I can't wait for you to flood mine with pictures of your baby.
Oh, get ready.
I can't wait.
Get ready. So whether it's like day-to-day life events or day trips, vacations, we send each other pictures of like the things we cook for dinner. Yeah, and my sister's a food stylist, so like,
Those
hello.
photos are
I
immaculate.
always save, don't tell her, but I save her pictures.
She's probably listening.
I'm also heavily pregnant, so they're going to get a lot of baby photos.
Yeah.
It's just the skylight frame. It's a very meaningful gift that you can give for the holidays. It helps you stay in touch. And even if you just get one for yourself.
Yes, do it.
It's,
Unlock those, like free those photos from your camera roll and put them in your skylight frame for real.
absolutely.
So Skylight is a touchscreen photo frame that you can send photos to straight from your phone and they appear in seconds. So like you could be connected or, you know, there's like an email you can use to send photos to your family's frames.
It couldn't be easier. It's also
It's
like
so easy.
boomer approved.
Oh, it totally is. And when you give this as a gift, you can even preload photos before the box is opened. So when it's unwrapped and plugged in, your most treasured memories just start popping up.
Oh my God. It's so cute.
I'm obsessed. This is a perfect gift for everyone. You got grandparents? Boom. You got parents? Boom. Are you going to welcome a baby into your world?
Boom.
Your friend's about to welcome a baby? Boom. You got a spouse? Boom. You got yourself? Boom. Do you have like a weird group chat that mostly talks about Bravo Housewives and you want to send memes to your skylight frame? Boom.
Or just
Great
internet
group
cats.
gift. Internet cats. Why not? Effortlessly send photos from snapping that photo to the frame with the free Skylight app or in a unique email. It takes so little time. You can send those photos in seconds. It's so easy to use. Setting it up, less than a minute, maybe. Like, if grandma can do it, you can do it. The touchscreen makes it so easy, and you can swipe through photos. You can, like, double tap the heart button to thank the sender for the photo that was uploaded.
Oh my God. It's interactive.
It's so cute, and the frame style is so nice. It looks beautiful in your home. Photos are displayed in HD resolution. It looks like a real sleek, modern photo frame. It's not like this big, bulky thing. You can set it up in portrait or landscape mode. I really want the larger 15-inch frame that I can wall mount.
Yeah.
I'm ready. And there's new color options to match any style. So I have the black one with kind of like the white matting. It's very classic. But there's a white frame, there's a silver, and a limited edition poppy, which is like this beautiful orangey red that's definitely in my cart, and gold.
Give me the gold. I want the gold.
I love it. But I want to know where the gold at. It's better than social media because it's like, it's super private. So I think about this a lot for people with kids. Like, you want to share pictures of your kids, but you don't necessarily want them on the internet where everything lives forever. Like, Skylight Frame is the way to go. It's so thoughtful. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. The folks at Skylight are so confident that you'll love it that they offer free 120-day returns. It's a top-rated brand. It has over 1 million happy customers. There's thousands of 5-star reviews. So if you don't want to take it from us, take it from them.
As a special limited time offer for our listeners, get $15 off your purchase of a Skylight frame when you go to skylightframe.com/wine. To get $15 off your purchase of a Skylight frame, just go to skylightframe.com/wine. That's skylightframe.com/WINE and treat your memories.
Treat them.
In a classic The Gals Misremember incident, Amanda and I both actually have covered the Mad Bomber in the past, and we just have so much content that we didn't realize. And that's okay, because actually we each covered it in kind of a very different way and focused on different details of this truly wild case. So I love both episodes, but here is my version of the Mad Bomber from episode 31, Criminal Profiling. Please enjoy.
All right, so I chose another older case this week. I don't know what's going on.
You're getting older.
But I am getting older. I'm 30 now, guys.
Old cases.
Yeah. All right, so this case is fucking bonkers. I love it. It is the Mad Bomber case.
I almost did this case.
I came across this in my research.
So good.
Yeah, it's so good. All right. So, beginning in November 1940.
Way back.
Way back.
Way back.
Way back. A madman began planting homemade bombs in public places around New York City. The first was a pipe bomb in the windowsill of the Con Edison plant on West 64th Street in Manhattan. Jesus. Okay. A worker discovered the device unexploded with a note attached. Yep, which read, quote, Con Edison crooks, this is for you. Signed FP.
Ooh, okay.
Everyone's got an acronym.
All right.
Fucking patriarchy.
It's true.
FP.
Oh, I didn't know where you were going with that, but that's
Just
true.
saying.
Okay. Yeah, so police were initially baffled, especially by the existence of the note. Presumably, the note would have been destroyed if the bomb had actually gone off. So they didn't know if the intention was for the bomb to not explode and just scare people, or was the bomber like not very bright and didn't realize that the note would be destroyed. So they were kind of confused, but then like nothing else really was happening in the same like time frame nearby, so they kind of just forgot about it. Like there wasn't, they didn't have any leads and whatever. It's 1940. They had bigger fish to fry.
Totally.
So, 10 months later, in September 1941, another unexploded bomb, strikingly similar in design to the first, was discovered wrapped in a sock and planted on 19th Street.
Okay.
Remember when I used a sock as my camera case for a solid 8 years?
Yep. And when we
Remember?
had to put socks over our microphones before we had nice microphones.
Oh, we stopped doing that?
Oh God. Wait.
Do you have a sock over your nice microphone?
No.
Are you kidding me? We spent so much money on these. Get that fucking nasty sock off.
I don't have a sock on my microphone anymore.
Sure. Okay.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even wear socks. Sandals all the way. Okay. All right, so this bomb had no note attached, but police believe that the two attempted attacks were linked because the bomb design itself was so similar. Okay? Still no leads. All right, once World War II starts, the bomber sends a letter in like classic like cutout magazine clipping letters. So good. It wasn't even cliche then yet.
Wait, once
amazing.
World War II starts or once the U.S. gets involved?
Once the U.S. gets involved in World War II. The bomber sends this letter to police announcing a patriotic hiatus in honor of the war.
Okay.
So he said, quote, I will make no more bomb units for the duration of the war. My patriotic feelings have made me decide this. Later, I will bring the Con Edison to justice. They will pay for their dastardly deeds.
Okay.
Signed FP.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And what did
All
this
right.
Con Edison plant, like, what did they produce? Or are you going to get to that?
I don't actually know. I feel like it's electricity.
Okay, sure. Edison.
I could be totally wrong.
Googling it.
I feel like it's some sort of utility company.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Electric, gas, and steam.
Okay.
Nailed it.
Nice. Nailed it. All right. So throughout the war, the Mad Bomber kept to his word and didn't perpetrate any more attacks. But he did continue to send bizarre threat letters to not only the police, but also movie theaters, seemingly random private individuals, and of course, Con Edison.
Can't leave them out.
Okay? Really doesn't like Con Edison.
Really hates Comcast. Edison.
Oh, God, Mediacom.
Really hates Verizon.
This is the saga of my relationship with Comcast.
And mine with Mediacom.
Get ready.
Fuckers.
I only have my computer and illegal internet
Fair.
links. So, okay. Most of the early bombs didn't go off. Okay, so I talked about the first two. I think there were some other like attempted dud bombs before World War II, but none of them exploded. So they kind of went more or less like unnoticed,
Sure.
I guess. But over this decade-long lull during the war and immediate post-war, like 5-year period, the bomber clearly perfected his bomb-making technique. All right.
That's never
So,
good.
on March... That's not good.
No.
It's not good to give a madman 10 years to practice.
Not the best. No.
Perfect.
No.
No. If it's a good wholesome cross
you wanna
stitch, then
try-
sure. But if it's a bomb, no.
No.
No. Do you want to try brewing your own home beer or maybe get into hobby trades?
I've got a great, very complicated hat dish recipe you could work on for 10 years, but a bomb?
Took me decades to perfect. The trick is putting it in the broiler
Jell-O,
for a couple
salad.
minutes.
Oh, but for real, though, you gotta finish it in the broiler.
You
it
really
crisps up the top layer.
Gotta brown
That
the,
took you 10
gotta
years
get
to
those
figure out,
tops
then, God
toasty.
damn it, you're an idiot.
brown the top
You're just
or
a
go to
dummy.
hell.
Okay, so on March 29th, 1950, the Mad Bomber came out of retirement with a bang. This time, the
Crickets.
bomb went off
Yeah.
in Grand Central Station,
That's no good.
but no one was injured. Twist!
Shyamalan twist. No one was injured.
I mean, for a bomb to go off in Grand Central and no one to even be injured, that's kind of amazing. Like,
Yeah.
That's super
place
amazing.
your bombs
He
in
needs
better
another
spots.
decade of practice.
Yeah, exactly. Back to
Yep.
the drawing board. Okay, so over the next 6 years, bombs were planted at landmarks around New York City, including Rockefeller Center, Radio City Music Hall, the Macy's department store, which was like a way bigger deal then than
of
it
course.
is now. Port Authority bus terminal, which presumably was clean then and now is a meth
Yep.
den. Yeah. And a phone booth, I think somehow inside or right outside the New York Public Library, as well as multiple Con Edison plants. So one of these things is not like the other.
Common thread.
All right. In total, the Mad Bomber planted 31 bombs around New York City. There were no deaths, but 15 people were seriously
Oh,
injured.
dear.
So police were desperate and out of conventional methods. So investigators turned to psychiatrist James
Ooh,
Russell.
like the sprouts.
I love Brussels sprouts.
Yeah.
I do too.
It's literally spelled like Brussels
So
sprouts.
good.
It's great.
Isn't Brussels sprouts
All right,
really
so-
Brussels sprouts?
It's Brussels with a capital B as in the city.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you.
Let me just pour the biggest glass of wine I've ever poured.
And then Lucy started loudly urinating.
I'm in the bathroom, did I tell you?
Oh my god! Yeah, I record from the bathroom. It's the smallest room in my house.
I'm just refilling for the third time.
Also,
That's fine.
Do you remember how my grandmother used to always say "tinkle pretty"? Like you would go off to the bathroom and she'd be like "tinkle
And it
pretty."
made no sense. It was super gross.
I always say, I hope everything comes out all right.
Yeah, that was our family's favorite too.
She also used to say when I was going to bed, "See you in the AM, not in the PM. Hopefully not with a BM."
Always with a BM. What's the AM for if not a BM?
I mean, she's not wrong. She's definitely not wrong.
You're wasting your AM, quite frankly. Why even get up?
It's the only reason I get out of bed in the AM is for my BM. All right.
Anyway.
Okay. Anyway, innovative psychiatrist James Russell.
Perfect segue.
Not like the sprout.
Brussels sprouts do make me give a BM.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So good.
Okay. So, Russell had an innovative and as yet untested approach to use psychology in order to develop what he was calling an offender profile, and now we call a criminal
All right,
profile.
I'm following.
Right? So, they claimed, in all the research that I read, they claimed that this was the first of its kind to be used in an active police investigation.
My case did that too.
Can I just point one thing out?
Oh.
Yeah.
We call it just like casually criminal profiling, but actually it is referred to as offender profiling.
Sure.
Oh, all right. Okay. So apparently every case claims that it's the first to
This case was from
do this
2004,
profiling.
and they claim to be the first of their kind.
Oh, well. Okay. So Dr. Russell has described profiling as, quote, a private blend of science, intuition, and hope.
Oh, my God.
Which I thought was
Get
pretty.
over yourself.
Oh. All right. We're over it. Okay. I thought that was cool. Never mind.
We are not impressed.
Believe in.
Just crickets. And then Amanda goes,
That was me.
get over yourself. Oh.
Still in the bathroom.
Okay. Okay. So, Russell predicted that the Mad Bomber would be... So, the police hand over all the files dating back to 1940, right? And they're like, okay, try to point us in the right direction of who this person is and what they're like. So, he predicted that the person would be male, a progressive paranoiac, middle-aged, so between 40 and 50, and of well-proportioned build.
I'm well proportioned.
Introverted.
I'm not.
I'm proportioned.
Insanely disproportioned build.
I'm
potty mouth. Smells like booze.
I'm well portioned. I thought that's what you said.
Purple hair.
I can't portionize. Okay. Introverted, single, a loner, not interested in women, and more specifically, because I feel like everything that's been said up until this point doesn't
Pretty
seem...
generalized.
Right, exactly. So now he starts to get a little bit more specific. Perhaps living with older female relatives who are providing sort of like a mothering, nurturing role. Neat, tidy, clean-shaven, meticulous, a skilled mechanic and very good with tools, which is like, okay, yeah, he's building bombs.
Really?
So
That's an obvious one.
He might flare up at work when violently when criticized.
Okay, so he's got a temper.
Okay, so workplace
murders.
Yeah. Possible motive, discharge or reprimand. He feels superior to his critics, and his resentment keeps growing and building until he can't control it. The police already knew that most of the letters had been mailed from
postmark
Westchester
evidence or whatever. Where they were processed in the mail.
And for those that don't know, Westchester is a suburb it's like a well-to-do suburb of New York City. But Brussel, the psychiatrist, deduced that the bomber wouldn't be stupid enough to post them from his own hometown. And so likely he would have mailed them between his home and New York City.
Yep.
And Krakow. So to get from there to New York, you would have to pass through Westchester. All right, so he's predicting somewhere around Bridgeport, Connecticut. This guy's from. All right. He also said that unconsciously the bomber wants to be found.
Always.
And most famously, before Brussel left the police station after giving his full profile, he added on his way out the door, quote, "When you catch him, he'll be wearing a double-breasted suit and it will be buttoned."
What?
Is Brussel the bomber?
Yeah.
Is Brussel a fucking psychic?
That's a really odd premonition.
So
both of these options seem credible to me. So how dare you laugh?
Right. Well, we'll come back to this, but apparently he had reasoning behind the suit thing, because it was he doesn't care about fashion, so his suit will be, out of date. It won't be in style. He doesn't spend a lot of money on clothes, but he wants to appear neat and tidy and respectable at all times and blend in with society. But he also wants to cover up and have a protective wrapping. So that's why the double-breastedness.
I'll take it.
Which is, it's interesting, right? Mine would be she will be wearing leggings.
She'll appear to be in pajamas.
An oversized sweater.
She will be unclean.
Yeah. Some sort of hand-me-down sweatshirt. Yeah.
She will be wearing her high school debate sweatshirt or choir sweatshirt.
And Tom's.
At all times. Possibly a wine and crime deep V black t-shirt covered in dog fur.
100% wear it under all my clothes.
Available on our website for $23.
They're so comfy, actually.
It's my favorite shirt.
Yeah. All right. So while Brussels' criminal profile was incredibly specific, the real break in the case came from a civilian, a Con Edison secretary named Alice Kelly. Woohoo! Lady solved the case.
Love it.
All right. Miss Kelly had been tasked with carefully reviewing hundreds of prior employee compensation files. So they'd done a pass-through and nothing stood out to them initially, but they were all right, let's devote more time to this. So they put the secretary on going through all these old workers' comp files and flagging ones that she thought maybe could be relevant. Okay? So there are hundreds of them. Obviously, it's 1956. It's all paper, One file stood out to her. So she only flagged one file, that of George Metesky. George had worked for Con Ed for 11 years before being injured in a boiler accident. But not horribly injured, but not working again injured.
Just lightly disfigured.
His face was not disfigured.
Oh, he's
I don't know
fine
about the rest of him. Okay. All right. So when he filed for workers' comp, his claim was denied. All right. Which is God damn it. Fucking capitalism. So, of course, Metesky was not unique. like a lot of people filed for workers' comp and
Sure.
had their claims denied. So why would she only flag him? Well, it was because a linguistic clue spoke to her. All right. So remember, all the letters had been published in the newspaper.
Yes.
Okay. So she had seen them. George had included the phrase, quote, dastardly deeds in his complaint letter, in his like appeal
Oh my
for
God.
workers' comp.
Be a little original.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so Alice notifies the police. They're quick to track him down. They get a search warrant. They go to his house. Brussels' profile is proved eerily accurate.
So he nailed him spot on.
Matesky, he like fucking nailed it. Okay, Matesky is 53, so he said between 40 and 50. I'm gonna give it to him. A bachelor, living with two unmarried
oh my God,
sisters.
The female influence.
Oh.
Yep. 5'9", 170 pounds. Lived in Waterbury,
was
Connecticut. I think it's very close to Bridgeport. I didn't look,
Connecticut's
but it's
small.
fucking
It's
Connecticut,
close.
right?
Yeah. Oh, I'm from there. It's a postal stamp. Everything's within 20 minutes of
Okay.
the other thing. It's pretty great.
Right. While he was not foreign born, he was of
Oh, God damn it.
Latvian. Yeah. Do Latvia and Poland
Let's look at
touch?
a map.
Or have they ever touched? Because Poland's borders have
Real
changed
quick,
like
I'm
15
going to Google
times.
do Latvia and Poland touch. So it's like they are a hop, a skip, and a jump apart. Pretty amazing.
All right. Okay, he had a full bomb-making workshop in his garage, which was organized meticulously. All right, he's good with tools. When police arrived at Matesky's door, he didn't seem the least bit surprised. He said, quote, I know why you fellows are here. You think I'm the mad bomber.
We know you're the mad bomber. And you're under arrest. And let's just do this.
So it didn't really take much to get a confession out of him, almost as if he wanted subconsciously
Just
to
like
be
Brussels
caught.
sprouts said.
He seemed especially eager to unload to investigators all his grievances against Con Ed.
Are you jotting this
So he was
down?
like
Are you paying
happy
attention?
that they found him.
God.
Did you get that last part where I fucking hate Con Ed? Are you paying attention?
And there's this bitch in HR named Tina. No.
And I didn't bomb him, but I woulda.
Okay.
Yeah. Sure would.
Okay, so an officer asked what FP stood for because all the letters
Fucking
were signed
patriarchy.
FP. And Matesky said fair play.
Boo!
Yeah. All right. Okay. Now, most importantly, though, what about the double-breasted
Oh my God.
suit? So, Matesky was wearing pajamas when police came to arrest him. All right? But they let him go put on clothes before leaving
Oh
for
my
the
God, no way.
police station. And he emerged from his bedroom wearing a double-breasted suit, buttoned.
No.
Oh my God.
No.
This is too weird.
You know how when, like, people are so amazed by a magic trick that they, like, walk down the block and then return and walk back again just screaming? That's me in my brain right now.
Yeah.
That's me in, like, the Backwoods family in every David Blaine special.
Yeah.
You
Just
collapse to the ground.
collapse to the ground. How is
Yeah.
that? I'm so... How?
It's so good.
Russell,
Is it
man.
Chris Angel mind freak? Is it really Chris Angel mind freak?
All right, so this whole case and Brussels' method earned him the moniker the Sherlock Holmes
For
of
real.
the couch. Because he could, like, solve cases by, like,
No,
getting
because he
into
loves to
people's
sit on his
heads,
couch and
right?
eat
No,
chips.
he was just in the dude's bedroom with like the
the just suit on a hanger, like, here you go. Here's a clean outfit for you.
He was hiding there.
Yeah, he was wrinkling everything else.
He doused it in gasoline. That was the only thing left.
Amazing.
Okay, so post-arrest, last little bit. After his arrest, Metesky's demeanor seemed oddly upbeat. And so in one of the most famous photos of him, he is seen grinning through the bars of his jail cell. So I'm going to need you to go check out some photos. These will be on the blog. I have a ton of photos of him, but I only labeled one of them.
My God,
George
he's
Metesky.
horrifying.
Happy grandpa.
No, he
like
looks...
him.
He looks terrifying.
like
Are
him.
you kidding? He looks
No.
So
horrific.
smiley.
No.
His eyes are vacant.
Oh my God, look at his
are tiny.
eyes.
He has tiny little pain eyes.
He is
has-
fucked up.
He has crazy eyes.
If I saw that man walking down the street, I
I'm
would
with
cross
Lucy
the
on
street
this.
and then call the cops because there's something clearly wrong with him.
No.
Yeah. He's smiling in like every
love
photo of him with those crazy eyes. Shut up. No.
He's so
All right, I'm not
happy.
allowing it. Okay. So, perhaps not surprisingly, psychiatrists quickly confirmed that Metesky was a paranoid schizophrenic. And so rather than, which I feel like, it's 1956,
That
so they're kind of
easily
throwing
could have
around
been a
the term
misdiagnosis.
He
schizophrenic.
is smiling in this photo
Right,
of the
but-
cops dragging him away.
Still
He's
doesn't make him a
smiling.
paranoid schizophrenic, though.
Yeah.
In
Still
his
doesn't make him a paranoid
buttoned,
schizophrenic.
double-breasted suit. Oh my God, I see the suit.
Yep. There's a photo of him like being transported from a mental hospital on a stretcher, and he's waving
He's
to the
nailing
crowd.
He's a fucking oh my God.
He's nailing it.
Yep.
I hate it.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So rather than going to prison, he's shipped off to the Mattawan Hospital for the Criminally Insane, which is probably no
Likely.
longer its name.
Probably not.
And he spent 17 years there as a model prisoner before, inexplicably, to my fucking knowledge, being released.
Just let go?
So, yeah, and not because of old age or whatever, because he lived for another 20 years free until his death at the age of 90 at the family
Good
home. in
That's so
Lord.
weird. So he wasn't like up for any kind of parole. He was just, they were like, nah, you're doing fine. You can go now. We're tired of feeding
It
you.
didn't go to. It didn't
Do you
go to
think
trial.
they gave him like a lobotomy or just like shot him the fuck up with enough lithium that it just took care
probably.
of the issue?
That's how institutions often
He
were.
was probably put on
yeah.
some meds, but I don't think that there was a lobotomy or nothing
Dude.
ever said so.
That's fucking crazy.
And he still hated Con Ed.
Never got over that.
Who doesn't?
So he
Never got over that.
He gave interviews that was like, I regret what I did,
But-
whatever.
Fuck you, Con Ed. I'll
but-
never stop hating you. Yeah.
Fuck Con Ed, basically.
Fucking Con Ed.
You'd do it too.
Con Ed.
You would do it
Yeah.
too.
All right, so that is the Mad Bomber /
That
George
is
Metesky.
amazing.
Honestly, replace Con Edison with
Yep.
MediaCom, and I
Right.
have all the sympathy in the world for this guy.
I'm right there with you.
And socks.
Comcast and socks. For a lot of us, the start of the new year feels like the right time to schedule doctor's appointments and check-ins. I know I have so many on my list that I have to get scheduled in the new year.
Yes.
You want to know where you're at with your health, you know? But I feel like something that often gets overlooked, even when we're in that mode of let's make all the appointments, let's get everything figured out. What about your reproductive health? Are you focusing on that in the new year? For any reason? I think you should.
I think you should too, and that's why modern fertility was created. It's an easy and affordable way to test your fertility hormones at home with a simple finger prick. You mail it in with a prepaid label, and you'll get your personalized results within 6 business days. Not much waiting around there. It's lightning quick. You'll get insight into your hormone levels, like your ovarian reserve, so like how many eggs you have and what's average for your age. and other important factors that can impact your fertility. The results go deep into what every hormone means, and you can also download the results to review with your doctor for next steps. And you know what? I feel like people in our generation, we're just pushing off kids a little bit later and later. We got those student loans, various crises. We just don't want to have kids right away. And that's totally fine and cool. But sometimes you might be wondering, well, how far can I push this? At least I did. Traditional hormone testing at a fertility clinic can cost over $600, but modern fertility tests the same general set of hormones for only $179, a fraction.
Yes.
And if you go to modernfertility.com/gals, you can get $20 off that test, so $159. And you can get reimbursed for the test through your FSA or HSA. So if you want kids today or maybe just one day in the future, clinically sound information about your bod can help you make the decision that is right for you.
Absolutely. And right now, Modern Fertility is offering our listeners $20 off the test when you go to modernfertility.com/gals. That means your test will cost $159, which, like Lucy said, is a fraction of what it would cost at a fertility clinic. Get $20 off your fertility test when you go to modernfertility.com/gals. One more time, modernfertility.com/gals, and treat your knowledge.
Everyone loves a good family mystery, especially one with as many twists and turns as June's Journey. Step into the role of June Parker and search for hidden clues to uncover the mystery of her sister's murder. Engage your observation skills to quickly uncover key pieces of information that lead to chapters of mystery, danger, and romance, and also garden design.
Oh, yes. One of my favorite parts.
Where will each new chapter take you?
So, yeah, find those hidden clues. Uncover a murder mystery. You're solving these mind-teasing mysteries of the Roaring 20s. It's so cute. And you're in the 20s. You're escaping to a bygone age of mystery, of danger, of romance.
Of cute hats.
And like Lucy mentioned, you can customize your very own luxurious estate island. And you can, send your friends topiaries. No. Am I too excited about this? Yes.
No.
I absolutely love it. And you know what? Who doesn't love to relax? So relax and lose yourself in this captivating quest of mystery, murder, and romance. Travel back in time to the glamorous 1920s. Build your garden, connect with your friends, and just have so much fun. I am in love with this game. I love logging in and seeing what kind of again, the topiaries. What kind of things are in my inbox from my friends that I'm connected with online playing this game. And I just like beating the clock and being really good at solving these puzzles and finding the clues.
There's definitely a rush of endorphins every time I play this.
Yeah. Big time.
Discover your inner detective when you download June's Journey for free today on iOS and Android. It's December, people, which means it's time for 12 days of deals at Honeylove, which is our go-to for bras and shapewear. So from December 1st through 12th, Honeylove will be dropping new limited time deals nearly every day, so do not miss this. And this holiday season, I'm especially thankful for Honeylove because there is nothing worse than suffering caused by uncomfortable bras or shapewear. And I do want to emphasize the bras.
Yeah.
My God, the fabric is so nice. You could just say goodbye to uncomfortable underwire.
I'm obsessed. I have the crossover bra, and it's my absolute favorite.
Yes, the fabric is just really nice. It's very smooth. It also has kind of a second layer to treat that gappage. You know what I mean?
I love it.
Yeah. So Honeylove's bras feature supportive bonding that eliminate the need for underwear without sacrificing lift, because they make you gals still look real good.
They do.
So give it a try. You will immediately see and feel the difference. Get yourself the gift of comfort and support at a discounted rate. Visit honeylove.com to shop their once-a-year December deals and let them know we sent you when the survey asks.
You know what else I love about bras and shapewear? And I feel like a lot of people don't mention this during the colder months, but you want your bras and shapewear to be breathable and not too hot.
Yeah, because there's lots of layering in the winter.
Yes, especially in the winter. And so let me tell you, when these are a go-to undergarment, they thought of everything. It's amazing. And you know that feeling when you get home from a long day and you immediately want to take off your bra? Yeah,
Not with these.
No, I've literally fallen asleep wearing this bra. That's how comfortable it is. Honeylove's best-selling crossover bra, the one that we have been just absolutely going gaga for this whole time, is so comfortable that it's sure to be your new go-to. Trust us, it's our new go-to. This bra gives all the support of traditional bras without using any underwires and plush mesh detailing. It adds that touch of sexy and that breathability. This is the one bra that you'll actually enjoy wearing and you're not going to want to take off, okay? And then when it comes to shapewear, Honeylove's best-selling Superpower short, I have these too. I wore them all summer, like under every skirt for just combating my chub rub discomfort, my chafing.
They're smoothing.
They're so smoothing, but they're just so comfortable. It has targeted compression technology that distinguishes between areas that you want more support and areas that you need less compression. And their signature X targets and sculpts your midsection without squeezing your natural curves. I'm a curvy birdie. I want to show it off. Plus, the best part is it won't ever roll up or down thanks to the flexible boning that's hidden in the side seams. This is like a brilliant, brilliant, brilliant garment. So Honeylove is just as easy to put on as it is to take off. Shapewear shouldn't be such a struggle. It shouldn't be so hard. Their products make you look great. They make you feel great. And, you know, it's a great gift. Give the gift of comfort this holiday season. Whether you're getting ready to attend a wedding, maybe you're hosting a holiday party or dinner, or simply seeking that everyday boost of confidence and that comfort, Honeylove is the perfect plus one.
Treat yourself to the best bras and shapewear on the market and save up to 20% site-wide at honeylove.com/wine. This month only, December. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them, and please support our show and tell them we sent ya. It's time to ditch the underwire for good, thanks to Honeylove. One more time, honeylove.com/wine, and treat your comfort.
Treat it. Welcome back, and here is my interpretation of the Mad Bomber case from episode 247, Forensic Psychology. This is a famous case, but one that I knew very little about because, once again, I am the least educated true crime podcaster when it comes to true crime.
Yep.
It's like I have the memory of a goldfish. I'm learning everything for the first time every day. It's 51st dates over here. So it's great. Found my wallet, by the way.
3 weeks later.
Over a month. Okay, so let's
Only had to replace 2 credit cards.
Only had to replace 2 cards. I feel good about that. Let's go back in time to New York City on November 16th, 1940, which is actually almost 81 years to the day as we're recording this.
Wow.
Just
Wild,
like
right?
even 81 years ago.
Yep. So creepsters. Anyway, so on that chilly November day at the Consolidated Edison Power Plant on 170 West 64th Street in Manhattan, folks arriving for work found an odd item perched on a windowsill. And I'm not sure if this was inside or outside of the building, but I think it was outside. I just didn't dig deep enough to confirm this, but I'm pretty sure it was outside. What they found was a weathered wooden toolbox wrapped in a note that read, "Con Edison crooks, this is for you." Signed FP. Obviously creeped out by this, the local authorities were called to remove and evaluate the contents of the box. And inside, they found the makings of a crude pipe bomb with an ignition mechanism made of sugar and flashlight batteries, which in the 40s wouldn't be like double A's. It'd probably be like pretty big.
Yeah. Basically, my diet in college: sugar and flashlight batteries.
Yeah. And what powers your vibrator now in 2021?
And not the modern ones, the big ones.
The big ones. It's a crank.
It shocks you when you touch it.
Yeah. So the bomb didn't go off, and obviously, because they got the note off of it, and investigators were left puzzled as to the intention of the mysterious deliverer. Like, was it meant to remain unsploded so that the recipients could read the note?
Oh,
Unsploded?
Because obviously the note would be toast if the bomb had actually gone off. So, like, what would have been the point of the note? You know, so
Right.
maybe it was an intentional dud to just send a message.
oh.
That a quiet year went by without any leads or new discoveries when in September of 1941, again, almost a year later, another bomb was found in the street about 5 blocks from Consolidated Edison headquarters. This bomb did not go off either, but this time no note was attached. Investigators were able to surmise that the bomb was made by the same person because it was almost identical to the previous and seemed to be targeting Consolidated Edison.
Yeah.
But also theorized that the deliverer was accidentally stopped in the act of delivering and igniting this bomb, which is why it didn't make it any closer to Con Edison and why it never went off. So, like, maybe a passing police officer scared him off or a nosy stranger got in the way. We don't know.
Mm-hmm. The need to shit.
Ran him off. You never know. So 2 months later, the United States enters World War II in December of 1941. A letter arrived that same month to a nearby New York precinct in the exact penmanship of the note wrapped around the first bomb. This note read, quote, "I will make no more bomb units for the duration of the war. My patriotic feelings have made me decide this. Later, I will bring the Con Edison to justice. They will pay for their dastardly deeds. FP."
What the fuck? Do you think you're in a comic book?
I mean, it was the 40s, first of all. Second of all, we just don't write like we used to, and I'm sad about it. Bring back dastardly.
Yeah, dastardly.
Bring it
Dastardly's
back.
good.
But FP wasn't kidding.
Patriotic feelings.
Won't let him.
Oh
He
my
wasn't
God.
he wasn't kidding. He didn't plant a single bomb for a decade as the US participated in World War II, and then obviously the war ended in like 1945, but then we were recovering from World War II.
Oh, so good thing his patriotic feelings endured.
Built that in. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
What the fuck?
he wasn't quiet during that time though. He sent a lot of letters. So
Yeah.
clearly he didn't
A
enlist.
lot of feels.
Despite his patriotic feelings, he did not enlist, or he was too old to enlist,
Mm-hmm.
or had a health condition that wouldn't let him enlist. So,
Right.
like, they're
They
starting
got
to chip
info.
away. They have some very pertinent information, and we'll get
Mm-hmm.
to it.
And he fucking hates Con Ed.
Yup.
There's probs a reason for that.
Yep. So he wrote a lot of letters and sent them to police stations, newspapers, Con Edison, of course, and even just random people, like civilians of New York City, who like do not know this
Once
person.
again, the yellow pages, the phone
Yep.
books. Try
Get
it
fucking
again.
rid of it. Get rid of it. Investigators diligently studied, I've had one, the penmanship of the letters, most of which were immediately turned into the police. So, if it, like, this is in the press. It's been going on.
Mm-hmm.
These letters have been sent over the course of a decade. People know, and they're like, I got this weird fucking letter. I'm just going to hand it over.
Right.
So they're looking at the penmanship, and they notice an odd style choice in the way the letters Y and G were written. And there's a scan of one of his letters on the drive if you want to look at it. So, like, if you look at the Y in the he writes all in uppercase, and like the tail of the Y has like a weird bump in it, like a squiggle. And then his G's are very odd. Like, that he has, it almost looks like a C with two lines coming out from
his
either break in the
G's
C.
His G's are bizarre.
Very distinct.
I've
Very
never
distinct.
seen a G like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we'll get to the G, baby.
All caps.
Oh, I like the G.
I like it too, but maybe, not one to
Maybe don't copy
mimic.
this.
You know what
place.
it looks like? The little fart cloud emoji
Oh, it does, but without without
does.
bubbles.
without the bubbles.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
you look at the word ago,
Uh-huh.
it really looks like that A is just farting on that O.
A little bit.
Yeah.
So,
Or the other way around, sorry.
yeah, you nailed it. Some experts attributed these differences in how he's writing to a possible Eastern European education. So apparently this is maybe like a thing in Eastern European language
Okay.
and penmanship. So this obviously was not much to go on because it's fucking New York City. And like, there's a lot of immigrants and a lot of people living there. But they were combing through Con Edison's list of past and present employees and chipping away at this case as best they could. But there were so many possible leads and so many former employees with a reason to hate Con Edison that this didn't narrow things down all that much. Not substantially enough to even really be conducting interviews, at least at the time. So then in March of 1951, several years after the war had ended, another bomb popped up in New York City, this time in Grand Central Station. This bomb was not a dud and did go off, but thankfully didn't injure anyone, which is kind of amazing. And as I was writing this, I was like, how the fuck? But then as we go on, you come to realize that these bombs are small, localized explosions. They're not massive.
They're sugar and battery.
Yeah, there's sugar and batteries in a small.
He didn't
pipe
know what
bomb.
the fuck he was really doing.
Well, he knew exactly what he was doing, but he didn't. He was trying to send a message. He wasn't trying to kill anybody.
Blow up the building.
Exactly. So, but it's still pretty amazing because this was placed in like one of those tall ashtrays with like sand in the bottom. So like those, and that would have been made. They're not plastic.
That would have been
the
like
50s.
shrapnel.
Yeah, like it could have been really bad. It's got sand and metal in the bottom of it. And it was right outside of the Grand Central Oyster Bar and Restaurant. So it's like a high traffic spot.
I want oysters.
I know, right? I'll add that to my baked beans list.
Oh, not a good combo.
Listen,
Oh, yuck.
don't tell me how to eat. A month later, another bomb goes off in a telephone booth at the New York Public Library. Once again, no injuries. And things are then quiet until August when another bomb went off in another phone booth, this time back at Grand Central Station. Again, no injuries.
So scary.
So police didn't immediately connect the dots because without like intact bombs to collect, they couldn't be sure this was the work of FP. And these were not targeted at Con Edison. So, and they're just these like little kind of annoying bombs. So they thought it was like a bunch of shitty teenagers pulling pranks around the city. But then a bomb went off shortly after in another phone booth, but this time at Con Edison headquarters, and they figured it out. But still, no injuries. Wow. So then another bomb was mailed to a Con Edison location in White Plains, New York, and this one did not go off at all, and investigators were able to evaluate it and attribute its build officially to FP, though he had gotten more advanced in his construction, which led some investigators to believe that he may have military and like mechanic training.
Because it's pre-internet, so it wasn't so easy to just like go online, go on Reddit and figure out how to make a fucking...
he was like learning as he did.
Every time you say FP, I have to remind myself it's not fucking patriarchy.
Yep. Yeah. Neither this case nor Taylor Swift are referencing our FP.
Sadly. I really woke up
We wanted it to be true.
To reports that Taylor Swift shouted out Wine and Crime on her new album. And I was like, oh my God, this is it. My life has changed. We're going to be number one. My whole world has changed. Whatever. No, she just said, fuck the patriarchy, which is great. And I support it. But
we did not invent that.
We didn't invent that, sadly.
And yeah.
But Taylor, get at us.
Yeah, hopefully
if we're wrong.
Hopefully now enough people have been tagging us in her shit.
Yeah.
For her to be like, what is
Easter
this?
Egg.
Yeah.
Girl, we will send you all the free merch you want.
Seriously. T Swift, if you're listening, reach out. Have your people contact our people.
We will send you an FP onesie for each of your cats.
It worked out great for Kat Dennings. I mean, she came on our show and years later was in WandaVision. And
look at that.
I think
you're welcome.
That's causation, not correlation right there.
They don't have nothing to do with each other.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Anyway. So this is just another small detail for their list of small details that are like leading them nowhere. They're just chipping away at this like massive block with like a tiny pick and a tiny hammer. So FP was a real DQ, a drama queen.
a dairy queen.
A dairy queen. Which
I
now I also
oysters
want.
and dairy
God
queen.
damn it. Why do we always record when we're hungry / why are we always hungry? So he sent another letter to the press, this time to the New York Herald Tribune. In it, he stated that, quote, bombs will continue until the Consolidated Edison Company is brought to justice for their dastardly acts against me. Against me, the person who is anonymous. How can they reconcile their dastardly acts against an anonymous person? But whatever. I have exhausted all other means. I intend with bombs to cause others to cry out for justice with me.
Okay.
Show me
so
that
let's
line
go
of
through
logic.
the Con Ed lawsuits.
Right. Well, we'll get to it, but there really weren't any lawsuits. So, like, he definitely did not exhaust all other means. But, yeah. He disclosed possible locations of other bombs that he had planted in that letter that he sent to the press, one of which was found at the Paramount Theater in Times Square. And then on November 28th in 1951, a bomb went off in a coin-operated locker in a New York City subway station. So you could, like, put in a quarter and get a locker for, like, X amount of hours or whatever. And, again, no injuries from either of these. Not a fucking packed theater or from this locker.
Amazing.
And the Herald Tribune got another letter shortly thereafter that said, quote, have you noticed the bombs in your city?
Hello. Give me
Jesus.
attention.
Yeah. If you are worried,
enough attention.
I need it. If you are worried, I am sorry. And also if anyone is injured, period. Like, I'm sorry. But it cannot be helped, for justice will be served. I am not well, and for this I will make the coin Edison sorry. And that is correct. You are not well. I appreciate the self-awareness. All caps. I am not well.
It's like the weepy voice killer. I can't stop killing
someone.
Someone.
Yeah. But like, same.
Yeah, I mean,
I am not well.
I have written I am not well in all caps as well as yelled it in all caps. So I get it. I feel for this guy.
I am not well.
Yes, they will regret their dastardly deeds. I will bring them before the bar of justice. Public opinion will condemn them. For beware, I will place more units under theater seats in the near future. FP.
Okay.
So what if so these other targets like Grand Central and the
All over the
theaters
place.
and the phone booths, which had nothing to do with Con Ed, but he just wanted attention.
He wants to bring people into a cause by bombing them when they go to the movies.
Got it.
Or to take
Every
public
time.
transit. Yeah, 100% of the time.
Oh my God.
So FP's reign of terror would continue for 6 more years.
Dear God.
Okay.
In 1952, bombs went off at the Port Authority bus terminal without injury and a Lowe's theater in a fucking seat because he was putting them in theater seats, which did injure a person, but they recovered. In 1953, bombs went off at Radio City Music Hall and again outside that Oyster Bar in Grand Central. In 1954, in a men's room in Grand Central, which injured 3 men using the toilets. A phone booth at Port Authority bus terminal. 1 found but not detonated at Penn Station. Another in another seat at Radio City Music Hall that injured 4 people, but
He
they
just
fit.
loved Midtown.
He loved Midtown, but this is nuts. So this
He
goes
loved
off.
Midtown. He would not go below 28th
I mean,
or above 50th.
correct, correct. So this bomb goes off in a seat at Radio City Music Hall, injures 4 people, but they finished the show. They moved like 50 people away from that localized seat and finished the show.
It was a different time.
And
They'd
then,
seen World War
Different
II.
fucking
and
time.
then the cops came in to search for evidence after they got everyone out of the theater who had enjoyed their theater experience.
Jesus.
I fucking can't. Like,
Once
I know
they
it's a
shoveled
small
away
bomb.
the injured.
Right. No, it's a small bomb. People got like burned in the ass, but it's still a bomb.
Leave us a rating and review.
Right? Thank God Yelp didn't exist in 1954. Then in 1955, a bomb went off on the platform of a Brooklyn subway station, so we did leave Midtown for that.
Yep.
A seat exploded at the Paramount Theater, slightly bruising someone's butt, but they were like, I'm fine, and walked it off. Several more bombs were found in
Was a
other seats
different
at the theater
time.
that day. Yeah, seriously. Pre-9/11, bombs going off all over New York.
Tons of bombs going off in New York, and
Right.
the police were like, whatever.
Back
Did
in
they
those
finish
days,
the show?
so you go to the Paramount, you get a bomb in the ass, you finish the show. You get some free concessions, you finish the show. People these days, too soft. You millennials are too soft.
Here's your participation trophy.
Yeah. I got a bomb in the ass at Radio City Music Hall, didn't even get a refund.
And all I got was this T-shirt.
All I got was this new seat.
And a bruised ass.
Too soft. Anyway, it's like not funny, but it's amazing. Nobody died, so we can laugh. It's fine.
Yeah.
So in another one went off in Grand Central Station in 1955 in a men's room, again without injury. In 1956 brought the first serious injury when a 74-year-old bathroom attendant at Penn Station got hit when a bomb went off in a toilet while he was plunging it because it was clogged
That's a
because
bad-
there was a fucking bomb in it.
God.
So like
no.
someone went to use the bathroom, it wouldn't flush, went to get the janitor,
Yeah.
like the attendant, and he's
Right.
like, all right, he's 74. He's like, God damn it, okay, I'll unclog this. And the whole bowl explodes. And he got hit with like broken porcelain and toilet water.
God damn it.
Which
That
is just
a
the fucking
bad day.
cherry on top of an already rough job plunging toilets
on
at
top.
Penn Station.
Yeah.
I can't. He recovered. He wasn't killed, but he was seriously injured. He's an old fucking man.
Yeah.
So sad. I feel so bad for that guy.
Yeah.
And okay, so this is nuts, considering the media attention that these bombs were getting and how fucking long this had been going on in New York City. But this is also...
Yeah, like 15 years.
This is my favorite part of the whole case. It's just the most New Jersey shit I've ever fucking heard in my life. So a guard who lives in New Jersey but works in New York, he was working a shift at Rockefeller Center, found a piece of pipe in a phone booth, and like this was FP's MO. Like it was clearly to set a pipe bomb.
Yeah.
But instead of leaving it the fuck alone and calling it in, the guy's like, yeah, this is a perfect bit of pipe for a home plumbing project I need to finish. So
Somebody left this perfectly good pipe.
yeah, I'm gonna pocket this, bring it back home to Jersey.
Oh my God.
Oh, he does, and it explodes on his kitchen table the next morning.
No.
Nobody got hurt, no injury.
God damn it, Jerry. I told you
That's a
not
perfectly
bringing
good piece
trash
of pipe.
home from work.
My
Hey, yeah,
first
can you
thought was his
imagine the
wife
wife?
is like, fuck! Again.
Hire a plumber!
I
Hire a plumber!
liked that. Hire the plumber.
You keep saying you're gonna do it yourself. You're never gonna fucking do it yourself. Just hire a plumber. You just blew up a kitchen table.
You made a
Get
hash out of the drywall. What makes you think you could do plumbing or electrical?
That's a perfectly good piece of pipe. Gonna take it up. I got a plumbing project. I fucking can't. He
My
took it
dad
home, like,
would do
on
that.
the bus. Back to fucking like Hoboken or Jersey City or wherever the fuck he lives.
Didn't your mom find a piece of pipe in the yard?
Oh,
And
that
she
I
was like-
left there
she
because
was
I
like,
had stolen it.
I think it fell from a plane. But
No, I had
was a
shoved it in
random
my
piece-
Spanx after our 10-year reunion.
It was Amanda's post 10-year high school reunion blitz. You stole like 9 different things.
All unnecessary
including a pipe
items.
for a plumbing project.
A chunk of pipe.
I found it.
You are
You
this
left it-
New Jersey man.
I can use this.
You're like, can you
Perfect.
imagine? Yes.
Perfect.
And then
I can imagine.
And then I went home to Des Moines, and like 2 fucking weeks later, my mom
did
was
it.
like, I think I figured out where that pipe came from that was on our front step. I was like, what? I forgot. She's like, I think it fell out of a plane. It was like, oh no, that was Amanda.
Oh, that memory's coming back.
It was weeks later. She was like, you never thought
She
to mention.
She just kept
puzzling
it.
over it.
Just looked at it for weeks.
I think I cracked the code.
You didn't.
Your dad says he has nothing to do with it.
Yeah, well, he didn't this time. So that was my fucking favorite thing ever.
Because you could relate.
Yeah. Another bomb went off in a seat at the Paramount Theater and injured 6 people. And the fed up police commissioner made a statement the next day calling for, quote, the greatest manhunt in the history of the police department. And it had basically become that by that time because they'd been looking for this guy for fucking like 15 years at this point.
So had they actually decided to devote some resources
Yeah.
to it finally?
I mean, I don't think that they were really putting too much thought into
Yeah.
it. I think they were a little busy, but
right.
this now it's like, oh, okay, we've gone too far. They're blowing up kitchen tables in Jersey.
Yeah.
So New Yorkers went completely nuts because now this is just like all over the press, even more than it was before. And 6 people getting hurt at the theater. I mean, it's like
It's escalating.
it's escalating. So people were just turning people in left and right, like neighbors that they thought were weird, which I feel like is very New York City. Like, I don't know, I don't trust him. Call it in. Call it in. He left his groceries out again on the stoop.
Have you seen how he takes out the bins?
I don't like it. Call it in. He's the mad bomber.
Call it in.
Call it in. The search encompassed New York City and Greater New York, as well as surrounding states, but there was no physical description to work with. The dude was a fucking ghost. So they finally called in psychologist James Brussel for help. And this was the first time in the history of the department that a psychologist had been consulted to crack a case. So for that department specifically, obviously not like everywhere in 1956, 57. So this is from SmithsonianMag.com, quote, Brussel had at first demurred, citing his workload. The New York Department of Mental Hygiene, where he worked, which we don't call it that anymore, but he worked for like a state
What a shame.
mental health
Mental hygiene.
had 120,000 patients, and the caseload grew by 3,000 patients a year. So he's busy. Patient files were stacked high on his desk. In addition, he shouldered a full schedule of lectures and meetings and the demands of private practice. I had real people to deal with, he said, not ghosts. Brussel had other reservations. He hesitated to test his theories in such a high-profile case. What if his analysis failed to break the case, or worse, sent the police in the wrong direction? Quote, I don't know what you expect me to do, Brussel observed skeptically. If experts haven't cracked this case in more than 10 years of trying, what could I hope to contribute? I don't know, any resources whatsoever.
Well,
You're using experts loosely, but I get what he's saying.
I actually appreciate that he was skeptical of his own abilities, because usually the people that are least able are most confident in themselves and their abilities.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Dunning-Kruger.
Yeah. In the end, Brussel couldn't resist the chance to participate in the biggest manhunt in New York history. So James and I would not be friends. He was a hardcore Freudian and a firm believer in the Oedipus complex. But dude,
sometimes a cigar
is just a cigar, pal.
Subway bread is, of course, bread.
Is, of course, bread when it's not yoga mats. But dude clearly caught on to something. So he combed over every bit of evidence accumulated over the last, at this point, fucking 17 years, focusing primarily on the FP, like, written letters. He concurred with the assumption that the individual was not born in the U.S. or was at least a first-generation born in the U.S. individual, and believed him to be of Eastern European descent because of his choice of words in his letters and the way that he was writing.
Okay.
The theater seats that bombs were planted in were sliced open aggressively with a knife, which James believed to, quote, spell an Oedipal misalignment.
Oh, like he was trying to penetrate the seat with a knife.
I know, which, okay, sometimes
maybe
a knife...
he just was nervous and didn't want to be
moving
caught.
quickly. Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's where I'm like, okay.
Not
James,
everything's about dicks.
Yeah.
I know. Like a lot is, but like
A
not
lot
everything.
is, but not everything. Yeah. This felt like a stretch.
Yeah.
He believed the subject, oh my God, no more wine, was likely suffering from paranoia and could be schizophrenic. He also guessed that FP's handwriting, specifically the, quote, sag of his W's mimicking the curve of breasts, meant that the perp was unmarried but lived with female relatives like a mother, aunt, sister. James also stated, quote, when you catch him, and I have no doubt you will, he'll be wearing a double-breasted suit.
Just because of the name double-breasted?
I mean, maybe not the name double-breasted, but maybe like the style of the time, being an Eastern European
trying to look
person.
Official.
Yeah, I mean, there could be a million reasons for that, but it stuck out.
Okay.
So while the capture of FP was definitely pointed in the right direction because of the psychological profile, like that played a huge role, not enough credit goes to Con Ed clerk Alice Kelly. I can't imagine why, speaking of FP.
Yeah. Oh, did they overlook the contributions of Ms.
a woman?
Kelly?
Yeah, exactly. She had been working with police, combing over company records, and found one that checked basically every box of the profiled suspect. A disgruntled former employee named George Metesky. After serving in World War I, so military training, check.
Patriotic nonsense.
Yep. Patriotic feelings. He returned home and took a job at Con Edison as a mechanic in Waterbury, Connecticut. So mechanical training, check. He lived with his two unmarried sisters, OMG, check.
Whoa.
In 1931, George was working a shift when a boiler backfire produced a blast of hot gases. This knocked George over and he inhaled hot gas fumes.
Hence
the event,
his G's.
Well, maybe. The event left him.
Gases.
Oh.
Looks like a fart.
Oh my God.
Did we just
No,
become
but
forensic
maybe.
psychologists?
Sure
We
did.
did it. We cracked it.
FP, forensic psychologist.
Well, we'll get to what FP means, but that's not it. But
it's done.
Yeah,
I already
great
got
work.
We did. We did it.
The event left him permanently disabled, but Con Edison only provided him with 26 weeks of sick leave before pulling his job entirely. They just fired him. and then denied him workers' comp for, quote, waiting too long to file as he battled pneumonia and tuberculosis from the blast.
That is very fucked up.
Uh-huh.
That is very, very, very fucked up.
It's not good. He appealed several times until the last one was rejected in 1936, leaving George penniless with a deep anger toward Con Edison. So disgruntled former employee, check. George was also a first-generation American and the son of Lithuanian immigrants, Eastern European, check.
Check, check.
After 16 years of being terrorized by the Mad Bomber, police arrived at George Metesky's door and made an arrest. When he was confronted at the home, he was in his pajamas. The cops allowed him to change, and sure enough, he chose a double-breasted suit.
Oh my God.
Isn't that nuts?
Wow. Yeah.
Spot on.
So, like, James, I'm not here for all of your Freudian Oedipal bullshit, but you fucking nailed it.
Yeah.
So George had planted 33 pipe bombs around New York from 1940 to 1957. 22 of those bombs exploded, injuring 15 people. From Wikipedia, quote, they asked him for a handwriting sample and to make a letter G. He made the G, looked up and said, I know why you fellows are here. You think I'm the Mad Bomber. The detectives asked what FP stood for, and he responded, FP stands for fair play, which I guess would be like your move, basically.
It doesn't
fair
even
play.
make any fucking sense.
It doesn't really, but
As
this
a
person
sign-off.
is not. I am not well.
I am not well.
He is not well.
Super not well. Oh my God.
So he led them to his garage workshop where they found his lathe, which is like a tool used for cutting and sanding metal. Back in the house, they found pipes and connectors suitable for bombs hidden in the pantry, as well as 3 cheap pocket watches, flashlight batteries, brass terminal knobs, and unmatched wool socks of the type used to transport the bombs. So a lot of the crime scenes had fragments of wool where the bombs had gone off, and bombs that were found were usually like taped under the, like a phone booth or taped in a locker, wrapped in a wool sock so that you wouldn't
Like
immediately
Lucy's
know what
old
it was.
camera, digital camera
Exactly.
case.
I immediately thought of that.
Who
when
needs
I
a
was reading this.
camera case?
Yeah, an old sock.
Yeah.
George was indicted on 47 charges, including attempted murder, damaging a building by explosion, maliciously endangering life, and violation of New York State's Sullivan Law by carrying concealed weapons. Obviously, transporting the bombs would check that one off. He would undergo a psychiatric evaluation, however, before moving on to sentencing. So he didn't have a jury trial because, like, he admitted to everything once he got caught. There was no need. He was guilty. There was no need to prove him guilty, but they did need to figure out how to sentence him. So he was declared legally insane and unfit to stand trial and transported to Matawan Hospital for the criminally insane. He was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. There, after suffering for years with tuberculosis prior, and like they admitted him into this psychiatric hospital, and they were like, this guy is not well. Like, we don't think he's
not well. He told us.
Not only is he psychologically not well, but he was physically not well. I mean, he'd had like walking pneumonia and tuberculosis from this blast.
And
ongoing.
the boogie woogie flu.
And the boogie woogie flu for fucking 16, like years, almost 20 years at this point since that. Well, more than that, since he got that accident in the 30s.
Blast.
Yeah, his gas blast had left him literally permanently disabled and with a constant, like, infection.
Wow.
In his chest and lungs. So they didn't think he was going to live, like, more than maybe 6 months.
Yeah.
In this hospital. But he, I guess, getting, I don't know, some kind of consistent medical care helps. Because he made a full recovery in the hospital. And he was thriving, like doing so much better.
What a fucking indictment of our healthcare system.
I know.
Yeah.
Getting committed to a state fucking hospital.
And like union rights for workers and like.
He did well.
All
He did
of this
better.
could have been avoided.
He did better physically and psychologically being admitted to a hospital for the criminally insane in 1957. So like, yeah, that speaks a lot about healthcare, and yeah, it's not great. So he was transported to a less locked down facility in 1973 because some laws, I guess, changed in New York about how you can't just like lock someone in a hospital for
forever.
Like the criminally insane forever, which is that's a good law. You gotta have some sort of contingency for some kind of
people get better.
Right, exactly. Like there needs to be rehabilitation or some kind of treatment with an end date. So he was transferred to a less locked down facility in 73, and then follow-up assessments deemed him harmless. He was actually released with the caveat that he continue outpatient treatment. He was medicated for his mental health and schizophrenia. They had fucking actually treated him for 2 decades of pneumonia and TB, and he was sent home.
Oh my God.
He went back to his hometown of Waterbury, Connecticut, and he died in 1994 at 90 years old.
Oh my God.
Can you imagine if you were like, yeah, my
life.
neighbor, I cut his grass. He was the mad bummer.
Yep. Real nice guy, though.
The mad bomber. He
Real
looks
nice
like
guy.
a mad bomber.
Yeah, he looks, his photo is really funny. It's iconic, that photo.
Yeah. It's definitely here's Johnny.
Yeah.
Ew.
But this is when he was really sick.
Yeah, he was not well.
I am not well.
Did his sisters have any clue?
As far as I know, they had no idea. I mean, they're both working. I think that this family home, people were in and out of the house, and they're fucking working their asses off, and they're like, I don't fucking know what he's doing. Whatever. He's not well.
Right.
But I don't think they thought he was the mad bomber. I mean, even just looking at him, I know I say this all the time. Fucking every black and white photo of a jovial man in glasses. I'm he could be my dad.
Like my dad. You do say that.
But this guy looks so much actually looks like my dad with hair.
He really actually looks like your dad.
A little bit.
Kind of nuts.
Your dad had a much more cue ball shaped head.
His head was perfectly round. True.
This man has jowls.
In the one where he's apprehended in the double-breasted suit and he's smiling and surrounded by cops, that looks a lot like my dad.
That's the one I'm looking at.
Yeah.
I
the jail photo, not so much.
Not so much. I want to go back to this letter that you uploaded with the G's and whatever. And towards the bottom, he does give hints about his parentage. He says, the nearest to my being Teutonic, which doesn't that mean German?
I think so.
Is that my father boarded a liner in Hamburg for passage to this country about 65 years ago.
Yeah, so this particular letter, I think, was later in his, reign of terror when the press was like, we think we're looking for
this
so-and-so.
And he's
so they
haha, you got something
exactly.
wrong.
So he's definitely, taunting them a little bit. And he liked the attention. He's definitely reading the articles in the press.
Right.
But he's not well.
He's not well.
But he died quite well and lived
till
90 beautiful years. God bless him.
Beautiful years. I don't know about that, but
let's slow your roll. He lived 90 years. Some not so beautiful.
I'd give him about 35
90
beautiful
years fighting TB in a state prison for the criminally insane.
30% of which were beautiful.
Injuring people's butts.
He thrived. Never killed a damn one of them.
He was not well.
All right?
It's not well.
Didn't kill a one.
I'm not well.
Anyway.
I love the all caps. I am not well.
I am not well. New merch. For sure.
New merch.
I am not well.
I want I am not well shot glass set. I am not well. Draft it up, Corey. Anyway, that's my case. I just thought that case was so wild and was such a sensation. I had I'd heard of the Mad Bomber, but I was I have no idea what this is about.
Yeah.
But it was
well
so
done.
fun.
Well done.
Nice job.
I am not well.
I'm not.
All right, we'll talk to you next week.
See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to Wine and Crime. Our cover art is by Kala Yip, music by Phil Young and Corey Wendell, editing by Jonathan Camp. Check out our website and blog at wineandcrimepodcast.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Wine and Crime Pod. If you have questions, answers, or recommendations to share, email us at wineandcrimepodcast@gmail.com. Episodes are available on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, basically wherever you get your favorite podcasts. And if you like the show, please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. It is the best way to spread the word. If you'd like to show your support, visit our Patreon page to keep this podcast and the wine flowing. Cheers!